Once they start for one of those guys, I want to have all the camera stuff. I used to say hi to him. Once she starts all her announcements, it's all she starts. Yeah. Pick up all that. Yeah. That's the guy that was showing up here. He'll know what I went to talk about. Sure.
Did you go? Yeah, I love the record.
Weren't they awesome?
We watched Ring It first, so we just sort of saw.
I went to see Jamie Woodfin because they keep playing at our fundraiser about Lindsay, and then he's playing again in the May rodeo. Kyle Days was on for night at the rodeo. They play over Friday night and run the full Saturday just for us. Like 100%. May 10th and 11th. The big flea market. Are you back? You guys were doing the trail here in March? No? Because you can do that too. Kyle opens up the land.
10.
Oh, 10?
But I don't like
This guy's got a big enough trailer that he
so we
can
just bunk him with him. Awesome.
He brings in with a semi.
His wife was ripping it there the other night.
Well, and I told him he wasn't going to go, and then I got sick. Because we saw Alan Doyle in Newfoundland. He was amazing. Oh, I bet he was good too. Nice one. You just have to show your big eye.
Going up to Saskatchewan, we're going to leave
Yeah, give me a festival beer. I think it's Weeds. You have food coming? No. You have food coming?
She's all by herself, so I said, well, come Jeff. Most of it's hers, but sharing is here.
I was going to order some down there, but I thought it might be quite lined up.
It's actually order it up here.
Oh, you can order it here?
Except for it takes about 24 hours.
I don't know if that's on Friday.
Well, I ordered it last
Wednesday
night
night.
before I went to the
1 minute remaining in second practice. In the next 2 minutes, I have to send practice.
I'm leaving. I'll be back today.
Oh, this is like your hot dog thing. They should have your picture in the kitchen. Yeah. Well, remember I took a bite out of it. I don't give the other half. I don't know. How's it going on, Dick? Did he?
James, you can be operating?
Sure.
Okay.
Pretending to anyways.
So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, you just follow them.
Yeah, because we only have
Knowing
like,
the
one
game.
camera. Yeah, you just want to kind of stay wider. Like that's not too bad.
Yeah,
but
you
if
just
you're,
follow the rock down.
Yeah.
Give it a little twist. But yeah, I just been playing around with these.
Yeah.
It's a choreography, and
Yeah, just stay wide and then try and keep your zoom smooth. But yeah, if I notice anything, I'll probably like give you some tips. But don't take it bad at all.
Oh no.
We appreciate you guys doing this. So thank you.
Yeah, I just like I say, it's just practicing this.
Yeah.
The only tighter that gets tight is down here.
Yeah.
You just gotta get you.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure I've got it just smooth enough to get it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is this the live one now?
Yeah, it's gonna. It'll be live in about like 30 seconds.
It says live.
Yeah.
You got the date wrong.
Oh yeah, that's okay. So none of that'll show up on the stream, and then it's live here, but we actually like
Delay.
send the final signal out from like our headquarters. So, but yeah. All right, perfect. If you have any questions, let me know.
Should be good.
One guy sat there and the other guy sat there. But then
The order.
All of the statisticians, I gotta leave room. No.
you know what? I don't know where this person is. Like we could.
I might.
Just put it.
Yeah. You got room now?
Yeah. I'll just sit here.
Just be here.
What's the game?
Table's built well. What's that? What's yours called?
Last minute ditch 59 replacement.
I know I didn't eat it all, but I had it.
So why are they doing a draw to the button twice?
That's all we've been eating all week.
For a weekend?
Yeah, they use it for the They also found when you're only doing one draw of the button, lots of teams will cover the pin.
Yeah.
And then you had to have them throw again. So now because we don't have tiebreakers, this actually comes into play.
That's yeah, because we did a. I was in the Banff Bonspiel and it was total team draw to the button on the first game, total score,
Yep.
and that was the tiebreaker for all the other games. So it was pretty interesting. And you're right. You get a couple of.
What are you doing, Sheila? That's her and her husband are sitting here. So, so you could sit here if you want to. Right there. Because then you're right behind the sheet.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Was he there? Is there any power up here?
Yeah, so that's all we need.
Okay.
It's kind of hard following them this week.
Do you have any extension cords here? Or no?
No.
The ox. Good evening, Canada. Everybody watching across the country here. This is Joel Peterman back in the booth here doing the Canada Winter Games, commentating from the 2019 Canada Winter Games here in Red Deer, Alberta. I'm joined in the booth today with somebody Red Deer curling fans will know quite well. Drove in here, saved my bacon a little bit at the last minute. Everybody give a big welcome to Keith Glover in the booth here. How are you doing, Keith?
Good. A little hectic drive in, yeah. And had 10 minutes notice to get my butt in here, so but that was good.
Well, I appreciate Keith. Keith is obviously back in 1975 was the Canada Winter Games gold medalist. So now you got two of us in the booth, with myself winning in 2007 and Keith winning back in 1975. Keith has also been a very distinguished curler throughout his career. In 2012, won the Canadian Seniors gold medal. Also went on to win the Worlds in 2013 and was the Canadian Master silver medalist in 2017. So quite the accomplishments here by Keith.
I had some good teammates.
Well, we're excited to commentate here today. We got the guys game today, so we're mixing up a little bit. We're moving over to the guys game, and we're going to see Saskatchewan versus PEI today at the Canada Winter Games. Pretty exciting for these kids to get out here, get their first kind of nationally televised game. I guess not televised, but webcasted on YouTube. So we welcome all our followers there.
I don't have their records, Joel. How have they done so far?
So far, we can pull that up, too. Just have to grab my laptop from the other side, too. But
they kind of switched us places here in the last second, so we're winging it for a bit here.
So earlier on in this game, we see a little bit more aggression than we've seen on the games we've covered so far. Saskatchewan throwing a without hammer. Oh, sorry, PEI trying to catch up here. We have Saskatchewan with the hammer. Sitting with PEI sitting one now. Drawing around the center guard of Saskatchewan. There we go. So this is Saskatchewan second. Liam Kelly, 15-year-old second from PEI. I met these boys earlier before the game, and they're quite excited to be here at the Canada Winter Games. They told me that they're big Jennifer Jones fans and big Brett Gallant fans. So apparently Brett Gallant has fans across the country. I don't like to admit that since he might one day be my brother-in-law.
I was going to say, you better be careful what you're saying there.
Yeah, he'll get over it.
I guess it's this weekend those guys go back to work, eh?
Go back to work, yep. Brett and the boys, I think, start to try and go for a three-peat out in Brandon, Manitoba. They're going to go for a three-peat at the Briar. So they start Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, I think the wildcard game's Friday night.
Wildcard game Friday night with the competition starting on Saturday.
Right.
Our Scott Terminal Hearts just finished just yesterday. That was an exciting finish. We got to see our own Alberta's Chelsea Carey take home the victory with an exciting comeback, showing a lot of resilience against the powerhouse Rachel Holman. I was texting her today, and she was saying all they could do is stay positive, because at that point, coming back against a team like that sometimes can be intimidating.
Yeah, I don't think Rachel's give up too many 5-1 leads before. They're such a good hitting team that they don't do that very often.
Absolutely. So PEI with a little advantage here early on, sitting 3. However, no real worries for Saskatchewan, as we have everything kind of in the house. These Saskatchewan boys, we got a few baseball players on the team too. They were telling me beforehand that they're big baseball fans as well, especially the third, James Hom. He was telling me that he was actually recognized as the 2017 Midget AAA Baseball Pitcher of the Year in Saskatchewan. So it's a fantastic thing for him.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment.
Joshua Donay there, rolling out for Team Saskatchewan. Leaves PEI sitting 2. Here we go with our standings, Keith. So far in the standings, Saskatchewan's at 2-1. And PEI comes in this game 0-3, so looking for their first win, trying to get off the schneid a little bit.
Get the bounce back win to get them back on track.
Absolutely. But a great experience for these kids. I think this being their first national championship, and you can probably attest to it the first time you got on this stage at the Canada Games. Something you're not quite used to.
No, we sure weren't.
The atmosphere and everything.
Bunch of farm kids that didn't know what they were doing.
Absolutely. Did pretty well for yourself for a bunch of farm kids, I guess.
Yeah, I guess well, like anything, you have to play half decent. You have to get some breaks.
Yep.
And things worked out for us.
So just for our viewers back at home, Keith, you won that in 1975. Who were some of your teammates that you played with?
Dave Cruikshank was the skip. Doug Fowler was the third. I played second, and Brad Druschler played lead.
Right on.
It was some of the kids here were saying they didn't know how they're going to last all week because most of their junior events and under 18 events are 2 or 3 days long, and they've never been in an event where it takes 10 days to complete or 9 days to complete. We played our 11 games at the Canada Winter Games in 4 days. It was quite an endurance test.
10 ends back then, too, not these 8-end games either.
That's correct, 10 ends and corn brooms.
Corn broom.
They could have had, I was talking to a couple of the Red Deer guys that are on the spare pool here, and they're hoping to get in a few games. And I said, oh, you probably will by the end of the week because people get tired, they get hurt a little bit. When we went, they could have used a spare pool of about 30 curlers. Being corn brooms, there was lots of guys that had absolutely no hands left after 2 or 3 days.
Blistering right up.
Yeah.
Speaking of sweeping, good sweeping there, high-siding it, allowing, third Nicholas Johnson to make contact with the Saskatchewan Stone. Leaves PEI sitting 2 here in the first end. James Hom, our baseball player, looking to make a double takeout here. They're utilizing kind of the one sweeper technique that we see more and more often nowadays.
Yeah. I wished I'd have done that a lot earlier. I might have saved some of my shoulders.
You could be a good cheerleader then?
Yeah. I'm really good at running beside the rock, not sweeping.
So Hom rolls out there, leaving PEI sitting 1. Without Hammer here, they're looking probably for the force. However, they're trying to figure out the best way to do it. You don't want to leave it double for Saskatchewan.
Yes.
So they decided to go kind of side forfeit here, which isn't a bad call. Sometimes you see juvenile teams at this age, they might throw a guard, which also might open the door for Saskatchewan to get a deuce early on if they decide to draw in there. So
yeah, if you don't make a good guard, it can cause you a lot more grief than do any good.
Yep, so a good mature call here by Skip. Mitchell shoot. So like we're seeing kind of consistent throughout the Canada Games, a lot of young teams that we're seeing.
Very young.
The Saskatchewan team would be one of our oldest, and they have a 16-year-old, a couple 17s, and an 18. So one of our older teams. The PEI side on the other way is a couple 15-year-olds, including the Skip, and then a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Just looking at some of the bios here, Joel, it's a testament to what the junior programs and that, how good they are across the country. Numerous of these players have been in under 17, under 18 tournaments, so they've come up through the ranks learning to play in competition rather than just at the club against, you know, their buddies or whatever. They've been through the gamut already at a very young age.
Exactly. Dustin and I had talked about that earlier too, about how this is just a new experience. Playing against, when you come from PEI, you're probably one of the best teams for your age. All of a sudden you're thrown into a national competition where you're just one of the pack.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of figure out where you stand, and you got to figure out how to win games a little bit differently, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes you rely on those club games, you rely on just being better, so you're going to make more shots. But here you got to strategize a little bit more. And
all of a sudden somebody's making a lot more shots against you.
Exactly. So after Mitchell shoot for PEI, slid through the rings, it allowed Gervais to hit the open rock. So Gervais rolls out there.
just out, eh?
Okay. So skip for PEI. Mitchell shoot. Good draw weight there. He'll force a little tough blank for Saskatchewan. They got to be aware of the jam at the back.
Yeah, it's not an easy blank. He's almost got to go over the top of it if he's playing the intern.
Absolutely. Hitting anywhere on the outside will allow a steal for PEI. Good shot there by Shoot and good placement by the team. That's good communication the whole way down, knowing where that rock's going to stop. We are right next to the VIP lounge here, Keith, so I think we're going to get a lot of some good commentary beside us as these guys get into the wine a little bit.
Yeah, I see some bad actors over there already.
I think he was talking to you, Rick Moore. Well, we were just nothing, Bob. Rick. Yep, perfect.
I think it's a chamber meeting tonight.
So no problem there by the skip. Brecklin Gervais rolls out, gets the blank. Like we said, it wasn't an easy blank, but he got it across the face, which was important. Rolled out, and we start with a blank end. So we're 0-0 after the first end blank. See a lot of conservative, and we've touched on this before, but a lot of conservative game calling early on in games here. Trying to get your feet wet, especially the younger teams. Not quite used to the ice, not quite used to the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than when you see the big guys curl. They go after one another hard right from number one rock right through to the end, whereas it seems that the younger fellas and gals like to get their feet wet a little bit before they start gambling like crazy.
Yeah. So here we might see our first aggressive call with that rock slipping to the back of the house. Not too much harm for Saskatchewan, so they're just going to ignore it. They're going to throw up our first corner guard here, and we'll go after him.
Yeah, let's let the games begin. Andrew Myers looks like he's come just a little heavy and into the rings, not what they were calling.
Well, that'll allow PEI to remove that stone. So this team, Saskatchewan's actually skipped by a household name that people might know at home.
Coached, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, coached.
Yeah. I seen her here the other day.
Marcia Goodright, part of Team Schmerler, so the famous Team Schmerler back in the day.
Yes.
They were just voted as, I think, the best team on TSN's greatest team of all time. I think they were just voted that, so
they were a very good team.
They won, I believe, 3 Scotties championships, and every single time they went to the world stage, they won gold. And then they, of course, won the famous gold in 1998 at the Olympics in Nagano.
Yeah.
So a lot of experience here for Team Saskatchewan to draw upon. An unfortunate miss there by PEI.
Yes, and he took his own out at the back of the 4 there. So I didn't see the call. Were they trying to split the house or were they trying to throw a corner again?
I think they're trying to split the house here, trying to take advantage of the miss. Sometimes splitting the house early on like this is a good idea at this age. However, it's tough to maintain a deuce for an entire end like this.
Very hard to keep it for 6 rocks. Keep the house split. It's a lot of hitting sticks and the perfect little rolls to keep them away from a double.
Absolutely. So you'll see Kelly here for PEI trying to hit this top one on the top 12 foot, trying to roll over as far as they can towards that other stone.
Yeah, even if he could only get halfway over and close the gap a little.
Some good sweeping there.
Oh, a little thin.
Good sweeping there by Johnson, trying to directionally sweep it over. However, unfortunately, he's rolled out. That'll allow Gervais and Team Saskatchewan to split the house even better.
Yeah, they can get this a long ways apart now.
So the second for Team Saskatchewan here, Joshua Donay out of Balgony, Saskatchewan. Do you know where Balgony is?
No.
There, Keith? I have no idea.
I was talking to the producers here when I was looking at some of the little towns from Saskatchewan, and I was asking him where they were. He just shrugged his shoulders.
So Balgony is a town located in the White Butte area of southeastern Saskatchewan. It has a subway, 2 gas stations, and an outdoor pool.
Southeast.
Not much there. Population of only 1,600. One of those small towns in Saskatchewan that we see so many good curlers come out of.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Unfortunately there, the seconds, Donay's rock slipped through the rings, allowing PEI. Like we said, it's tough to maintain that deuce, and we see it happen just right there.
PEI hit and rolled out, allowing Saskatchewan to maybe draw over and use that other one as a catcher.
Donay gets to redeem himself here. Trying to put this rock in the rings. Saskatchewan probably looking for the easy deuce here. Couldn't see a corner guard. Keith just timed that rock and got 14-6. It's kind of right what you're looking for in this Red Deer ice here.
Yeah, I was talking to Wade Thurber, the ice maker, this afternoon, and all reports are the curlers are very happy with the ice. He said it's been pretty consistent around that 4.5 to 15 seconds from hog to hog. And that's what curlers are looking to get, is some consistency in the ice.
Absolutely. Kelly working on this rock for his third. Good shot there by Johnson. Right on.
It did jam.
It did jam. Unfortunately, jams there will leave Saskatchewan a chance to sit too. This is one of those tricky shots where you're trying to hit on the nose and roll as far as you can away from that rock without jamming.
That's right.
If you hit on the nose, you will allow a double back for PEI. Some big Saskatchewan farm boys here. Donay really leaning on it here, keeping it straight.
He is doing a great job holding that straight.
Good shot there by Saskatchewan. But like we said, hitting on the nose will allow the double attempt by PEI. Johnson looking for the double. Probably have to hit about 3/4.
About 3/4, yeah.
Across the face. Depends what weight he throws here. Sometimes Wade's ice is really curly with down weight, but it might run a little bit straighter with the hit.
That's right. The up weight will run a little.
So they got to be careful depending on the weight choice here.
The big thing is sticking here.
Absolutely. Sticking will allow a little bit more difficult shot, but the rollout, unfortunately.
Now they can make them way far apart.
Nope.
Yeah, you need to stick there. You don't have to make the perfect roll, but make sure you stick. Make them make a good shot.
So now Saskatchewan with the easier, just draw to the open house. The aim on this one would be to try and be T-line or better, is what curlers would say. You get to the T-line across or better, then that allows no double for PEI.
Yeah, even T-line, that's a really tough double.
Sliding a little bit on them, though.
Yeah.
And with 13-2, that doesn't look like it has a chance.
I don't think she's going to stop.
A little heavy there by Hom, the third for Saskatchewan.
Threw a fastball instead of a changeup.
He'll appreciate that baseball reference.
I don't know if if you fans out there know, Joel, as well as accomplished curler, is also a very accomplished baseball player.
Kind of gave up the curling dream to take over a baseball dream for a bit there.
Yes. Tough to curl that much when you're going to school in the U.S. Playing baseball.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship down there in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota. However, got my schooling paid for. Now I've gotten back and into teaching, so.
And you've got back into curling a little bit, so.
Yep, absolutely.
It's one sport you can get away from for a little bit, and it's always there if you want to come back and do it again.
Absolutely. It's kind of one of those lifelong sports that we really promote. Really promote just because you can play it your entire life. Kind of one of those sports like golf. I'm a big golf fan, though, so that's just me talking about golf because I want more people to play it. Golf and curling. A little bit of ball. So PEI with the nose hit there has kind of put us back in kind of that forced blank situation. Saskatchewan probably be happy with the blank at this point.
Yeah, the mixing it up hasn't worked out. They've tried to throw some corner guards, but throwing them into the house, and then it's just turned into a wide open end.
Donay leaning on this one, trying to help his skip out. Gervais trying to hit this right on the nose. Important to stick here for a chance at 2. He's done just that. Good sweeping there by Donay.
He's a very good sweeper.
For our young curlers watching across the country or around at your home, getting down, putting lots of pressure on that broom. You see Donay getting nice down low. But not just getting down low and putting a lot of pressure, but also fast. That friction, creating that friction will keep that rock straight and make it travel a little bit farther. Shoot here for PEI. Important to stick around. That'll allow a more difficult blank.
He looks like he could be from Manitoba with that tuck.
Tuck delivery, absolutely. He's got a little short broom he throws with, too.
Unable to hold it.
So that'll allow the easy blank here for Saskatchewan. Interesting here that he actually put the broom down too. Sometimes our juvenile teams take these ones for granted and they just toss them through. But Gervais intentionally put the broom down in a spot, even though he's going to toss this one through, just to get a little bit more information.
Exactly.
Important for late in the game, especially coming towards the home end.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a good point to pick a spot in the ice maybe where you haven't thrown anything yet, just to see what it does. Anything you can learn something about the ice is a good thing.
Absolutely. So it will be a blank here. In the second end between Saskatchewan and PEI, we are now 0-0 after 2 ends of play. 2 blanks by Saskatchewan. Can do a quick around the rings, kind of an update of what's going on across the sheets. We see over on sheet 2, BC and Manitoba. A battle that's 0-0 in the girls' game. After 1 end of play, they're throwing their last couple stones here in the second. BC Manitoba for the guys' side is also 0-0 with a blank in the first. They're finishing up their second end. Quebec, New Brunswick will be 1-0 Quebec for the females Quebec after 1 end of play. The men New Brunswick versus Quebec is 1-0 New Brunswick, even though the sign's down. 1-0 New Brunswick after 1 end of play. In the female Northwest Territories versus Nova Scotia, it'll be 1-0 Nova Scotia after the first end. The men, the exact same score, Nova Scotia leading 1-0 after 1 end of play. The Alberta game, so if you're Alberta fans listening at home, the Alberta girls got 2 to open their game against Newfoundland, so they lead 2-0 after 1. The men on their side scored 1 in the first end, so they lead 1-0 after 1 end of play. Their second end just ended, so we can give you an update once that happens. The PEI versus Saskatchewan girls game also blanked the first end. So 0-0 after the first, and they're just finishing up their second end. And back on our sheet, our featured sheet, 0-0 after 2 ends of play, 2 blank ends. So not much offense out there, Keith, is there? Everybody looks a little bit conservative.
What I was looking at, there's 1 deuce on the board, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is blanks and 1s.
And not just blanks. We see not many rocks in play as you look across the sheets either.
No. I don't know what happened in the break after this morning. They changed tactics or something.
Yeah. A little bit bigger crowd, maybe a little bit more nerves.
Yeah, there's a good crowd here again tonight. So far, the crowds have been excellent.
Well supported here in Red Deer. So PEI started us off. Their rock slipped. Their leads rock. Colin McKenzie's rock slipped into the back 12-foot. Once again, it allowed Saskatchewan to throw the free corner. Unfortunately, they once again slipped into the house.
This is starting to look like another open end.
Yeah. So Colin McKenzie, I was meeting with him earlier. He's a big fan, and like I said, of the Jennifer Jones team. His role model is Caitlin Laws. He was mentioning that, of course, he's a fan of my sisters as well, but he might have just been telling me that because I was standing in front of him. He actually was awarded the Fair Play Award at Nationals this year at the 2018 U18 National Championship, so that's a very good accomplishment for him. We always like curling such a game of etiquette and sport, and you can attest to that, Keith. So for somebody to come home with a Fair Play Award at a national level just speaks to Colin's behavior out there and just his comportment and how the way he treats his opponents and everybody. So
exactly.
Testament. Congratulations, Colin, on that award. Back to the Saskatchewan side of things. This is Andrew Myers, also out of Balgony, Saskatchewan.
They got a little unlucky when they run that other one off at the back of the house. So now they've got another chance for a free corner. And
we have slipped just outside. We stayed outside the ring, so we got our first corner.
What do we got in the way here?
It seems that TSN's camera is in our way.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Apparently TSN's more important than our broadcast, Keith.
We've got something in our field of view here that is covering up the half the 12-foot at the front of the ring, so we can't see that rock on our overhead view to tell if it's in or not.
But we're assuming it's in based on the draw attempt here by PEI. However, thank you, TSN, for giving us a nice big black blob on our screen.
Maybe we can get head official Brenda Rogers to look after that for us.
Brenda Rogers has just told us she's going to climb up there and move that for us. I appreciate that, Brenda. We're hoping that gets moved by next end. So PEI attempted to come around there, slipped into the back 4-foot. Didn't quite get buried either, but it's an aggressive call here by Saskatchewan, trying to get some offense going.
Yeah, it's totally open, but are they just playing a quiet tap?
I think they're ignoring it altogether and
just
going around the corner.
Going around the corner, just straight draw, try to get it top 4.
This is second Joshua Donay. He's quite a big kid. I'm assuming he's he is a football player.
Oh, yeah, that explains it.
Yep. So his team is actually the City of Regina 3A high school football silver medalist this year.
Ooh.
And they were the champions last year.
That's good football, 3A football.
Especially out in Regina. You know they're crazy about their football, those Rider fans. We don't want to offend anybody, so we're not going to talk too much more about that. However,
I won't say anything. I'm a Rider fan.
Perfect. It's a good thing I didn't say anything. So Joshua came up a little bit light there on his draw attempt. Still leaving PEI sitting 1. Crossing over those guards maybe wasn't ideal for Saskatchewan either, because now it's allowed PEI kind of a chance to get behind them.
That's exactly right. If you're a little late, you hope to split them, at least leave yourself a couple run backs with them crossed like that. There's no way they can run them back.
Absolutely. A good shot by PEI here. Going right into our blocked view, Brenda. That one actually slid just beyond it, so we can see that one. That is just biting the top of the 8-foot. PEI now sitting 2. However, they are open. That'll allow Donay a chance at the double here.
Yeah, I think he wanted that to curl a little bit more and maybe get at least a couple inches of it buried, so it covers part of the back one and leaves this straight run back not available.
Mm-hmm. So they're on and off, so it could be close. And it seems to be running, so maybe a bit more weight than they're expecting.
Yeah, they've...
So Donay rolls out there. Going to allow the chance for PEI to get a better one in there.
You're a little bit wide on the broom or a little bit more weight than they were calling for.
Mm-hmm. And with Hom on that early, you almost think that it was a little bit more weight, and they just didn't quite communicate that weight to their skip.
Yeah. So we'll try and do this again and see if they can get a little bit of it tucked in behind those yellow ones.
Absolutely. We've talked about this before, so if you've listened to multiple of our broadcasts, you're probably sick of us hearing it, but communication is such a key for these kids at this age. I've said before, what the team I coach here in Red Deer, I stress almost over communication at this age. It's better to give your skip more information than not enough. So communicating the whole way down, the weight, giving them as many as times we do drills where we communicate, and as soon as the rocks let go, a couple feet later, just gives the skip more and more information, so then they're really aware when that rock's coming down the sheet.
Absolutely. It's so easy for them to make a better call if things weren't as planned coming out of the hand, or they curls a little more or a little less. If they got a good weight call, they got way more information to make a good call at the other end and make a good shot.
Absolutely. So that PEI rock stayed exposed a little bit. Going to allow James Holm the double attempt here.
Oh.
As Vic would say, he stuffed it in the back.
I thought it was going to curl enough he was going to spit that out a little more in the open, but
not a bad result considering. He spilled it a little bit out in the open, which is a good result.
Yeah, and it's almost impossible to roll this anywhere in behind. You're going to jam it, so your only option now is to roll it wide side.
Exactly. Weight really important on this shot by Johnston. If we overthrow this one, you will see a roll out or a roll towards the outside. Trying to stick as much as they can to nose, I think, would be ideal.
Exactly.
However, he seems a little bit wide.
They're trying to make it curl.
Trying to help him.
No.
All that high side sweeping by McKenzie couldn't quite help that one, and we've rolled out of the rings.
Seems like that spot there, if you do have the up weight, they run pretty straight down that center line.
Another very mature call here by Gervais, though. He's ignoring this one on the back of the button, trying to generate some offense. He's going to try and go around, try and end up top 8 somewhere, top 4.
Yeah, anywhere buried is
ideal.
Good above the tee line, of course, but
absolutely.
It's got a nice line on this one.
So this is where it's important to communicate, because we can't be behind the tee line. We'll allow PEI a chance.
Oh.
You saw the boys with their heads down a little bit early. Sometimes that leads to...
Exactly, because he ended up having probably back 8, close to back 12 weight.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been off that all the way. We did get it.
You did get it
half
about
buried.
Yeah. We're sitting right behind here, and we see about half of that yellow. Shoot's going to play a little bit of a back line, maybe hack weight takeout here.
Yeah.
Try and take out the Saskatchewan Stone and lie to. PEI without hammer here after 2 blank ends by Saskatchewan in the first 2 ends. 0-0 still playing in the third. Good throw here by Shoot. However, it's very weight sensitive.
Yeah, this center line doesn't seem to want to move him much off it.
A little bit straighter, and unfortunately that's going to catch him.
He had probably good
control.
Yeah, I was going to say good board.
Yeah.
Just needed just a little less weight for the ice that he had there.
So a little bit too much weight. Makes the rock run a little bit straighter.
Yeah.
Now this allows the opportunity, like Gervais was looking for with his last shot, allows him the opportunity. If he could bury almost half of this around, maybe 3/4, might even open up a 3 opportunity if they're not a good shots made by by PEI.
Yeah, exactly. If he can get this top 4 half buried, he's going to have PEI in quite a bit of trouble here. That would have been an option for PEI, just to throw the draw to that rock.
Absolutely.
Being that it was behind the tee line.
So you'll see a little bit more curl here, especially with the less weight. It didn't quite get out to it, it looked like.
I was going to say he looks a little tight there.
However, important to stay on this to maybe keep the line so you can protect your own. He's going to stay a little bit to the inside. That yellow rock still about a 1/3 exposed.
Yeah, he guarded a little more of it for sure.
Yeah. So that's why it was important there for those sweepers to stay on that, to kind of bump that other guard in front and stay in front.
Yeah.
It's going to force Shoot from PEI, Mitchell Shoot, to go a little bit wider.
Looks like they're trying to decide whether they want to draw or whether they want to move it.
I think somebody needs to get Mitchell a little bit longer broom so he can lean down there a little bit farther.
He's short, so it it's not that bad.
It works for him.
Mr. Donnet had that. I don't think he'd be getting close to the ice.
So we actually saw there shoot as he was coming down. He's pointing into his ears and saying, don't think he could hear his sweepers when they were communicating. So it's really important, kind of this atmosphere that they're not used to when there's people cheering during your delivery. It's really important that you be loud on that communication, especially as a front-end team.
Yeah, it's not the easiest out there with 10 sheets, although they've done a good job with the sound baffles in here. It's a pretty incredible rink for sound, but when you get people out on the bleachers here right next to you with cowbells and noisemakers,
we need more cowbell, I think, Keith. Haven't heard enough cowbell. Shuta looks a little bit heavy here. McKenzie trying to help him out, but it is just going to slide.
Had a little less weight that time, but it still didn't take that big hook enough to tap it back to get first and second. Now he's going to have a draw for 2.
So the first time I've commentated on this sheet J, and it seems like it's a little bit more straight on this, kind of curling towards the boards. So the kids that haven't played on this sheet yet might be getting caught by a little bit less curl than they're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the sheet you guys did this afternoon, and it would move really nice both ways, whereas, this intern here doesn't seem to be curling near as much as the other sheets were earlier in the week.
Absolutely. So Gervais now.
He's only taken just outside the edge of the 4 to draw the button. The other sheets, you have to be almost out to the edge of the 8 to draw the button.
However, this one seems to be running on him. He needs to stay in the 8-foot to get his second point.
Yeah, he's not light. Oh, my. Yes, he's through the rings. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity there by Saskatchewan, and Gervais coming heavy on his draw for 2 will lead to the unintentional force there by PEI. Kind of happy with that result.
We've got some points on the board.
We do got some points on the board. It's now 1-0 for Saskatchewan after 3 ends of play. The single by Saskatchewan. From here at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. Meanwhile, in the PEI, if you're PEI Saskatchewan fans from home and you want to know what's going on in the girls' game, the girls right now from Saskatchewan are currently leading 2-0 after 2 ends of play. They're in progress today on their skips first rock. Saskatchewan skips first rock in the 3rd end. Saskatchewan is sitting 1, drawing. However, back to our featured sheet here. Saskatchewan going to try and put a little bit of pressure on after getting forced to 1. Probably see a center guard here.
Yeah, they're calling for the center.
We'll see if Myers here can find that draw weight that's been so elusive for him early in this game.
Yeah, both teams have had trouble throwing the guards, either the center guard or the corner guards. They've been a little rambunctious and putting them in the house. This one looks good.
Good adjustment there by Myers. Gets the center guard up. See a little bit more rocks in play now that the center guard has been thrown.
In turn come around. We'll see if this turn maybe moves a little more than the turn that goes into the wall. This one looks like it's moving.
The boys working hard to get this by.
Oh, just rubbed. Perfect weight.
Yep. And those are one of those not bad shots. It's the pro way to miss. You don't want to be heavy there. So if you're a little bit tight and you rack off the guard, now all of a sudden PEI has a corner guard up. So they're not too disappointed with that result.
That's right.
Saskatchewan now trying to take advantage of their center guard up here. Myers trying to get behind it. The boys are working on it. We're seeing a little bit more curl this way, aren't we? Away from the boards.
I think so.
So I'll be interested to
Whoa.
see if the boys, they've let that over curl a little bit.
Maybe they were playing it. They wanted it a little short, I guess. Because they could have had that by pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. So we're seeing a little bit more curl. Well, interesting to see if the teams pick up on that or if their coach picks up on that and kind of gives them an indication. Because we're seeing a lot more curl away from our fans. Sometimes maybe a little bit hotter, closer to the fans that are out there.
You saying the fans have a lot of hot air?
Yeah, absolutely. We might have a lot of hot air. This might be a little bit quicker coming away from us, too.
Yeah.
So now the opportunity given here to Mackenzie. However, sliding deep will give the advantage right back to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, a little heavy. This is the turn going away that wasn't curling.
Slides through the rings there.
Here we are. Gives Saskatchewan a chance to be first in.
Now Joshua Donay.
Looked like he might have been just a little bit outside, so there should be lots of room.
Nice weight here, though. You can see the late finish when the weight is the right.
Yeah, here it starts to go.
Hom trying to help it over. Now both boys jump on it, Myers and Hom. It's going to get into the top 12 foot. Half buried, not a bad shot.
Yeah, good shot. Going to force PI to open up the front a little bit.
So shoots that's his second here. 15-year-old Liam Kelly. Going to try and make a double peel. The only worry with this, Keith, as you might attest to, is if you hit it don't quite right, you might spin a yellow rock into the 4 foot somewhere.
Yeah, you sure could. Oh, trick shot.
Yeah, good little plan B there.
Plan B.
Not intentional, but they'll take it. Kelly a little bit wide on the peel. Got the rock in the house, which isn't always a terrible result either.
No, it's, like you say, good plan B.
It's one of those ones Gervais from Saskatchewan is probably saying, However, does allow Saskatchewan to maybe get a better one in there.
That's right. They can get her top 4.
And this is where that communication piece comes into. Sometimes when you come a little bit light, it's a tendency to overthrow it. So your sweeper's got to remind you you're close. You just got to give a couple feet more. You hear that so often on TV, just a couple feet more and we'll get it there. Because now you see Donay added quite a bit more, and he's going to slide right to the back 12 foot.
Yeah, that's right. Because the first one they laid off it a little bit because there was lots of room. If they would have swept it, he would have been top 8, top 4 if they could have swept it all the way, but they were waiting for it to curl.
Absolutely. That communication piece just so important. Kelly gets his second attempt at this double peel. And like we said, the tendency when you're light to be heavy, when you're wide, your tendency is to throw the next one a little bit tight.
Oh, he just missed the double peel.
So Kelly just a little bit tight on the broom. They tried to help him out, but only got the single peel, leaving a center guard up and a Saskatchewan rock at the back of the 12 foot. So Gervais not hating this situation if you're Saskatchewan.
Yeah, they'll be going in behind again. Trying to put pressure on.
So now our third, James Hom, our baseball player. His personal role model is Pat Simmons, curler from Saskatchewan, who won the Brier also with the rest of Kevin Cooey's team back in 2015, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 2015.
When Pat threw his broom about 600 feet in the air after he won that last shot.
Amazing part of that week was he started off playing third.
Exactly.
John Morris was skipping. Things weren't going well. They flipped her around and went like gangbusters.
So we'll have to ask James after the game, is Pat Simmons his hero? Because he was probably saw that Brier final, saw how well Pat played late in that Brier.
He sure did.
His personal role model is also Marcus Stroman, the pitcher for the Blue Jays. Obviously a big baseball guy, James. Hopefully he didn't see Marcus's start today. Gave up a home run to his former teammate, Troy Tulowitzki.
Oh, did he?
PEI looking for the peel here. The run. Nice shot.
Oh, great shot. Mr. Johnson.
So Nicholas Johnston made the run back there, got rid of the rock that Hom had just thrown in there. Important thing there, too, not only made the run back, but left their own stone up top, which will allow Saskatchewan a chance to get behind, but now it's your own stone running backs, which is never a bad thing.
That's right. They make a good one, and you ever do the perfect run back, all of a sudden you're buried.
Absolutely. So Hom just throwing this. Should be close. So you saw the boys switch back and forth there. Sometimes teams can get a little bit antsy with the directional sweeping. If the weight's not perfect, sometimes they can do a little bit too much. And you see sometimes teams oversweep with directional sweeping.
Exactly. They switch too soon.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're on the guard and yelling for them to switch again.
And then you're losing all that feet.
And you don't make nothing.
Yeah. You hear that too often on TV. If we would have done nothing, maybe we would have been better off.
Yeah. Sometimes the old conventional way works just as well.
Absolutely.
Now they got a short little run back here. I don't know if they'd be shot, though. It's going to be close.
Johnston just throwing this one, so he should be close as well. Trying to hold it straight. If they could make this and roll it behind the guard, it would be a really good shot. It's going to roll a little too far.
It's going to hang on for a biter, though.
I'm getting stuff thrown at me. So Saskatchewan now sitting one at the back of the 12-foot with a center guard up. They're not too disappointed with this result. If they can get around here, put the pressure on PEI. PEI is sitting a rock in the house, so it's important to stick around.
Yeah, get it buried, not leave a double. Looks like about the middle of the 8-foot, eh? For ice.
Exactly. So communication is key. If we see a good come around here, you might see the third straight run back by Team PEI.
Yes.
However, if they slide behind the T line, you might see a draw and set up a deuce. These two boys are really giving her their good sweepers. Look how low they're getting on the broom. So 15-22 is what Keith got on the time.
Yeah, they
With
did.
these boys sweeping well,
They did a good job of sweeping that. 15-2 is usually kind of top 12 weight.
And for them get that all the way to the 4-foot, that's a testament to how strong those two boys from Saskatchewan are. It helps having a football player.
Yeah, they're big, both strong young boys.
Absolutely. That was kind of Kevin Martin's theory back in the day when he first hired Ben Hebert, hiring a big football boy and taught him how to curl a little bit. Benny's turned into probably one of the best leads of all time now that how well he sweeps. And
yeah, he kind of set the bar, and now everybody's kind of following it. All the front ends now are all
pretty fit.
Really fit.
Except that Gallant guy. He's kind of a muffin.
I'm not going to say that.
Oh, shoot, just missing the run back.
Joss would kill me. Yeah, it just curled a little too much.
The unfortunate thing with that, too, is just missing the run back will also leave the guard up. So if Saskatchewan can kind of tuck a piece behind that guard, kind of go top 12-foot, maybe tuck a piece, it will allow a really tough score here for PEI. They might have to look at some kind of other run back or a draw around everything, maybe for the 1 point.
Yeah, if they can get a top 12, top 8, kind of quarter buried, so it's they can't get the double. Maybe force PEI to go wide out or to get one.
And that would be a different path going out a little bit wider. Sometimes that's not always familiar for the athletes.
No.
Our Alberta fans are going crazy. I'm not sure what happened.
Alberta must have made a shot. Well, the girls did.
Obviously, our Alberta girls were featured earlier today. Julia Bakos and her team, now 2-0 at the competition. Back to our game, Gervais Seeing a little bit more
Tight
curl.
to that guard, yeah. Swingier side.
They're still getting caught by that, Keith. I don't think they've quite picked up on the fact, so maybe good or right during the fourth end break here. We'll talk to them. They're seeing a little bit more curl away from the boards. Times are really consistent, so they have no complaint there. They're just getting a little bit caught by a little bit more swing on the outside.
Yeah, it definitely curls a little more that way than the other turn.
So Shoot calling for board weight here. With his short little broom, he's calling for board weight.
Thought maybe throw a little less, just kind of back ring and try to keep it half tight to that guard.
Kind of weight management is really important in shots like this.
Mind you, he could, if he throws board, he could hit and roll in behind his corner, and then Saskatchewan would be.
This is the last shot of the end, Keith.
Oh, of course.
So this is a shot for one for PEI.
So he's got a stick. More important, he uses quieter weight.
Absolutely. They will see more curl here, though, so they got to keep on it.
They got off it a little bit there, and then it jumped.
And there she goes, and this is going to be...
Steal of 2, unless he bumps.
Calm on it, trying to keep it through, and it will be a steal of 2. So they got caught a little bit with a little bit more curl out there on that side. Leads to a steal of 2 for Saskatchewan. They now lead 3-0 after 4 ends of play. We'll go to our fourth end break here. The kids get 5 minutes to eat some snacks, talk to their coach, maybe talk about how that turn away from the crowd is curling a little bit more.
Yeah, time for a little team meeting.
But we have a 3-0 score for Team Saskatchewan over Team PEI after 4 ends of play. Do a quick around the rings here. Keith, can you see way across there, or are you going to have to use my younger eyes?
Yeah, I might. Whoa, Manitoba looks like they stole 4 and is up 5-0 on BC. That's the ladies. The men, it's 2-1 for Manitoba men over BC, playing the 4th. Quebec and New Brunswick ladies are tied 1-1, playing 4. New Brunswick and Quebec fellows, Quebec is up 3-2, playing 4. Nova Scotia and the Territories.
It's the ladies, I believe.
That's the ladies.
Yep.
They're up. Nova Scotia's up 4-2, and in the men, they're tied 1-1, playing 4. Alberta ladies are up 2-0 on Newfoundland, playing 4. The boys, Alberta, are down 2-1 against Newfoundland, playing 4. And in the ladies, Saskatchewan, PEI, Saskatchewan is up 2-1, playing 4.
And that has been another segment of Around the Rings with Keith Glover. So quick update on standings, too. In our male competition, right now we got 2 teams sitting atop the standings. We got Team Newfoundland that is currently playing Team Alberta at 3-0. Quite a strong team out of Newfoundland. So 3-0, those boys. They're tied with Team Ontario, who's got the night off tonight. So Team Newfoundland could extend a lead a little bit over Team Ontario. So Ontario 3-0. Our Manitoba, Saskatchewan are both 2-1. So the team you're seeing here tonight is 2-1 along with Manitoba. Alberta and BC are 2-0 after 2 games. Team New Brunswick is 1-2, 1 win and 2 losses. And then we have 3 teams, Nova Scotia, Northwest Territories, and PEI, who are all 0-3 searching for their first victory. And Team Quebec is 0-2 to start the competition at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. On the female side, we can also give you an update on those standings. Standings from the outside, we have Team Manitoba and Team Ontario sitting atop the standings at 3-0. Team Newfoundland at 2-1 after 3 games. Team Alberta and Nova Scotia are both 2-0 after 2 games, while Saskatchewan is 1-2. The female Saskatchewan team is 1-2. Team Quebec is 1-1 after 2 games and split in their first 2. New Brunswick, Northwest Territories, and PEI are all 0-3 to start their competition. And Team BC says 0-1. I believe they've played 2 games, though.
It should be 0-2, yeah.
I believe they're 0-2 as well.
You guys did one game of them last night, and they lost in an extra end, I believe. And then they lost earlier today, too.
They lost earlier today to Nova Scotia, too.
Yeah.
That's right. So Nova Scotia actually should be 3-0 to update that as well.
Statsman's a game behind.
Mm-hmm. So that's a quick update from around the rings and kind of an update on the standings here at the 2019 Canada Winter Games. We'll get back into action here in about a minute and a half. Keith and I are going to get a water, maybe some snacks, and we'll be right back with some action from the fifth end. Saskatchewan versus PEI. Saskatchewan leading 3-0 after 4 ends of play.
Here we are back at the fifth end, Saskatchewan PEI game. Saskatchewan threw it top 4 and PEI through the corner.
I'm a little bit late getting back here. Had to get a snack, say hi to some people. Apologize.
There's a big lineup at the washroom, I know that.
Had to run quickly. This rock coming right into the top 12 foot. Gonna bump it back a little bit.
Yeah, with their 3-0 lead, Saskatchewan's gonna try and play it a lot more open. They don't have to gamble now. Make PEI do the gambling.
Shoot now asking for McKenzie, his lead, to make a little bit of a takeout, maybe roll. You might see some teams go around their corner here, but he's trying to do kind of both shots at once, maybe eliminate a Saskatchewan stone and roll behind.
The big thing is to stick. You have to stick on that shot.
And he's done just that. Even though it's not behind the guard, it is in play.
Yeah.
Rolling out there might allow Saskatchewan to put a little bit more pressure on.
Look what happened. Left it open for Alberta to get their one.
Stoney a little bit too much weight here. You see it ran a little bit straighter.
Hit and rolled out. Now it's PI going to go in behind the corner or try the hit.
I would like to see them kind of ignore this rock. You don't quite need to hit it yet, especially down 3. Being patient is key. Sometimes juvenile teams and junior teams are too quick to chase the shot rock.
Exactly right.
So if you can kind of avoid chasing that shot rock, go behind the corner, because the worst case scenario you would see here is a rollout and all of a sudden Saskatchewan walks up, peels your guard, and there's nothing going on.
There goes the whole end. I agree.
However, a good roll here could accomplish both. And
what do we know? Look at this shot.
This is one of those ones where the commentators look kind of dumb. Because Kelly's made a fantastic roll.
It's the old story. If you call the wrong shot and make it, sometimes it's a lot better than calling the right shot and missing it.
Absolutely. So Kelly's made a great shot there to hit and roll right behind that guard. However, Saskatchewan will walk up and try and run this back. They're happy even if they just get the guard off at this point with the 3-0 lead.
That's right. Make them hold the deuce for the rest of the end. Again, we're seeing this turn. Just run that little bit straighter.
We're hoping that was a message from the coaches at the 4th end break. You kind of got to pick up on what the ice is giving you.
Yes, that's always a good conversation to have with your team. What's the ice telling you after 2, 3, 4 ends?
It's important for all team members to be involved in that conversations too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we think, especially people who don't know curling very well, they think the skip makes all the decisions. The skip should be the one talking. But a good team is the one that communicates all the way through the lineup. When you come into a 4th end break like that, the lead, the second, the third, everybody's giving their input, kind of what they're seeing in the ice. If everybody's communicating and on the same page, that's when you're going to have a team that has a lot of success.
Exactly right.
So one of those deuces that's kind of tough to maintain throughout the end. However, PEI's done a really good job with their first one, splitting those up as much as they can, leaving as much separation. Being at the top of the house is also important too. Saskatchewan's now going to try and hit this and roll as far as they can over towards the other one.
Again, you don't have to get over there in one shot. Make sure you stick, even if you roll just halfway or a quarter of the way. The big thing is to stick.
Absolutely. Here's that turn with a little bit more curl.
This could be a very good shot.
Look at that roll.
Wow.
Great shot there by the baseball pitcher, James Hump.
Was that a slider?
Absolutely. That was definitely James's best pitch, that's for sure.
Well thrown, well called.
Absolutely. One of those team shots. Thrower's got to throw it well. Skip's got to see it well, especially those hit and rolls, not always easy to call. But then also the sweeper's got to be on it and make sure that they do their part.
Trying to decide what they're going to play here. Just come down and tap it a little. I like that call rather than throwing board or something at it and getting nothing out of it. This one, even if you happen to rub your own, you're still going to leave both rocks in the rings.
Absolutely. PEI boys trying to help out their third here.
And here's his turn. It's starting to move.
Oh, good sweeping by the boys to get that by.
Just got it by.
The only problem with that one is by moving that Yellowstone a little bit too much, it's going to allow it double right back here for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, nose hit.
A nose hit by Saskatchewan will eliminate both those blue stones. You'll see one go out either side and avoid the jam at the back.
They'll be sitting 2 yellows.
So we saw the slider on the last one by Hom. We'll see the fastball here. However, he looks a little bit tight.
It's a little tight. Can he hold it? No, just missed it. But he's stuck. It's going to be tough for PEI to remove that stone and not set up another rip at a double somewhere.
So what do you think would be the best spot to leave this one, do you think, Keith? Do you like rolling maybe a foot the other way so then the double maybe jams on the back
I think
yellow?
that's the best one, yeah. Just maybe a little bit towards center. If you roll 2 or 3 feet over center, it actually makes the double easier.
Yeah, you make it a little bit more of a natural double.
Yeah, more of a half rock double. If they roll a foot away from center, then it's basically a nose hit.
Absolutely. So it's important to leave this one in a good position. You don't want to give Gervais any chance at a double.
Skip signaling and it may be wide. He was waving vigorously.
So now the lead, McKenzie trying to work it over.
Yeah, just
rolled out.
I don't know if he was a little wide or a little heavy, but it didn't work out.
Leave the open hit here for Gervais to sit to without hammer. 3-0 Saskatchewan here in the fifth end. Both teams doing awesome on their time. Saskatchewan with over 17 minutes still on their thinking time.
Yeah, they were well over their halfway point time, so that's not going to be an issue. Mind you, when it was so open early, that happens, you gain time.
Absolutely. And for our viewers at home, thinking time, we've said this before, but thinking time kind of starts when the other team's stone comes to rest, and then we'll stop. Your time will stop when you cross the close tee line. So you're allowed 30 minutes of thinking time per game. Gervais with...
He's got her on the nose.
Gervais with Donay sweeping. I want Donay sweeping on my team. That kid's a strong kid.
Yeah, I might be able to make a shot if I had him sweeping. Yeah, he's a great sweeper. It's interesting here. PI could try to manufacture a skip's deuce here by maybe trying to tap that back a couple feet, stay on top. Looked like he's electing to maybe over curl that a little bit, go for the double or nose hit and stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's
maybe getting a little hesitant late at the end.
Playing it quite conservatively.
So he is playing the double based on their line call here.
Well done.
Makes that double, rolls right to the button.
However, not any chance for a deuce now.
No chance for a deuce, but if mission accomplished if you're looking for that blank.
Saskatchewan's very happy with a blank.
Very happy.
When you're up 3-0, they can waste as many ends as possible. Run it to the 8th end. They're happy.
We've got all our Saskatchewan parents behind us, not drinking Pilsner, though, it appears. It's not very ironic of them.
That's strange.
It's almost more nerve-wracking being a parent at competitions like this sometimes, though.
I can't imagine. Yes, it would be a lot of nail-biting. And
we talked earlier today about Dave Nedowin watching his daughter Alyssa out on the sheet. I've never seen Dave so nervous, sitting there early in the game.
Yeah.
Dave, the winner of 5 Brier titles, however, sat there this morning the first couple ends, and he was sitting there with his arms crossed, critiquing his daughter probably more than ever. However, his daughter played a fantastic game for Team Alberta. They came home with the victory over Northwest Territories today. Back on our sheet, Saskatchewan makes the nose hit. It's going to give the blank end attempt here for PEI. Got to hit about a half a rock, ideally. The only problem here is they're playing that turn with a little bit more curl.
Yeah.
Now trying to high side it, and we're going to stick right on the button. So the unintentional force of 1 is going to put a point on the board for PEI. After 5 ends of play, the score now Saskatchewan 3, PEI 1. This game is being played quite quick. We're one of the fastest games out here, it looks like.
Yeah, they're just ripping. They're in the 6th end, and most of the other games, all the other games are only in the 5th.
So we're playing quite fast. Like to see that. Skip's being very decisive.
With not many rocks in play, it's been fairly easy decisions. They haven't had a lot of contemplating or timeouts to
absolutely
talk things over.
The only thing slow happening on the sheet is Bob Moore walking down right now. Everything else is pretty fast-paced in this game.
It's a good thing they don't have a clock on those guys.
Should ask Rick to get one out there for him.
Now that would be slow if he had to walk down the ice.
So PEI now, after being forced to take a single in the 5th, they're looking to get their center guard up. McKenzie looks like he has perfect weight here. It's a good start to this end.
Yes, they need to generate something here, so they're going to have to maybe take a little risk or two being down 2 playing 6 without the hammer. They need to steal, get back into this game.
Absolutely. Gervais staying aggressive with his strategy, going to come right around. This center guard trying to get right to the forefoot would be ideal.
Yeah, asking Mr. Myers, the lead, to throw it top 4. Perfect weight. Just needed to curl a little bit more maybe, but
got a little bit out there. I like this call by Shoot though. Ignoring instead of the kind of the juvenile call to hit this and make sure that your shot rock, being a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
Asking McKenzie here to come right down and maybe freeze onto it. Keep a good angle.
Freeze it or just over curl it and bury it behind their guard. Working hard on this. It looks like maybe he's a little light.
Oh, and we've picked up something right at the end, too.
Yeah, it took
right
the other turn.
Right when the boys lifted up their brooms. Important for our young curlers at home. When you finish sweeping right at the end, you make sure you don't lift straight up. Sometimes after sweeping hard like that, if you lift straight up, sometimes the debris can fall off your broom. So it's important to clear away. When we coach the young kids, we say to clear. So after you're done sweeping, you clear, kind of push away from the sliding path and make sure to not drive up any debris right in front of the stone. That one would have been ended up light. However, the line may have been changed a little bit by the pick late in the shot, sorry.
Yeah, it took the turn right off it.
This one hanging a bit, but Donay is doing his best to make it curl. He did a
great
did it. Job.
This is going to be a good shot.
Fantastic sweeping there by Donay. Saskatchewan now setting 2 buried with hammer. 1 buried, 1 a little bit exposed, and that'll allow PEI a hit attempt through the hole. However, great sweeping there by Donay to get that thing to curl. Great draw weight thrown by Myers.
I could get the little flip in behind here. Throwing a little more weight than maybe I thought he would throw.
McKenzie trying to help his second Kelly out. It's unfortunately going to rack on the guard, leaving Saskatchewan sitting 2 and almost more buried the rock that was on the button. This is an interesting call here. Gervais kind of got 2 buried around a center guard, and not exactly sure how to make this any better for him around the guard, so he's kind of thinking about a strategy here.
He's talking about maybe peeling the center, which when you're 2 up with the hammer, isn't that bad a call.
His lead Myers coming down to give him support with the strategy.
If you made a good shot in behind there, it would be okay, but if you happen to bub things around the wrong direction, you could just create a nice little pocket for PEI.
Absolutely, so that's why it's important to make a good call here. They're going to call timeout. Here they're going to draw upon that experience of Marcia Gooderite, the Scottish champion, world champion, Olympic champion. Man, I said a champion a lot. She must be pretty good. However, they're going to draw upon her experience here and bring her out, kind of see what the best thing to do. This is where, as a coach at this age, sometimes you got to help them out a little bit, teach them a little bit about the strategy based on the scoreboard, kind of scoreboard management. However, you also might see Marcia come out there and say, this is a good opportunity to take it to this team and maybe put some pressure on them. So we'll see what she comes out of this timeout telling the boys.
Yeah, that's right. I think, too, you got to manage your own team a little bit. If you have fully confident your guy throwing a nice little draw in there, by all means go. If maybe that person has struggled a little bit with draw weight or something, you might want to go peel the guard.
Absolutely. Playing to your team's strengths.
Absolutely. And scoreboard. I'm always a big believer in scoreboard dictate strategy.
So they've come out of the timeout here, going to be really aggressive with this call. Gooderite's convinced the boys that a good draw in here, kind of keeping a good angle. If we freeze right up to their own rock already on the button, if we can get a good angle here, all of a sudden PEI is looking at a lot of rocks.
It's such a good situation. That's why I don't mind this call at all. You get one in there, lock another one in there.
The important thing, like Keith said, though, don't be heavy. The important thing to be think light, because your miss, and as a good coach would communicate that, where's our miss? And our miss would be light here. Not too light because you still want to be in the house.
That's right.
However, you don't want to be
top 12.
Yeah, you don't want to be heavy because all of a sudden we create a pocket.
You don't want to bang it. Uh-oh.
One of those
might be all right.
One of those self-fulfilling prophecies almost.
Here it comes. It's a little heavy. He's going to tap it a little. The thing is, he's going to leave it easier for them to get in off of that rock now.
So hitting a little bit on that outside angle is going to allow shoot. And Team PEI to maybe hit this one, roll in.
Flip in behind everything here.
Good shot here by PEI. Might get them right out of trouble. And you might see Saskatchewan having to chase. Kelly looking for a little bit redemption after his first one was a little bit wide.
Like they're just kind of throwing quiet, eh?
Maybe that was their coach's message when he went out there. We're throwing a little bit too hard. Bring the weight down. We can manage it a little bit better.
They had ice about 3/4 of the way out into the 8-foot.
So this rock is going to push.
But I didn't see the weight call. He probably had good back rain.
So Kelly, a little bit wide on that. Push the yellow rock onto the back of the button. Saskatchewan now only sitting 2 as PEI's rock kind of rolled him to the side 8-foot.
Yeah, it's probably third shot, but that's not a great help at this moment. Saskatchewan wants to cover that one just behind the button. They don't want to leave PEI that free, so if they can throw one top 4 in there.
Good adjustment it looks here by Donay. Much better weight. The boys trying to work on it to keep it straight. Holman Myers.
Even if he crosses that top one, that's a good shot because they can't get to the back one.
Holman Myers really working on that. That is fantastic sweeping by those two. Boys really excited with that result. And rightfully so. Now they're sitting first, second, and third, dead buried almost. Shoots up to his eyeballs in yellow rocks right now.
I actually could have left that about 6 inches shorter and just locked it on the corner a little bit, and then there's no shot for PEI. Not that he's got a lot right now.
No, absolutely.
He's got to, I think, try and make that double and hope for another chance at the other one.
Saskatchewan controlling that, what we call control zone, top of the house. Important, especially in juvenile curling, junior curling, and all the way through men's and women's play. Controlling that top of the house is really important. So you see both the Saskatchewan rocks at the top of the 4-foot, controlling that front of the scoring zone. You'll now see PEI, they're going to try and run something back here. A good run back here actually might get them out of trouble a little bit. tougher to hit these on the nose.
It sure is.
Might have got this one going.
Got to go hard here. Did he get one? Oh, made some contact. That's
not a bad result, too.
Worked out not too bad.
Good throw there by Johnson, and it was a good job by McKenzie to keep it straight.
It's tough to guard those two now, because if you guard the one that's on the button, it's behind the tee line. They can somehow maybe wiggle one in there.
Absolutely.
Or the double would be there off the one in top 4.
Saskatchewan contemplating what to do here. I think we're going to go behind the corner guard, maybe corner freeze to this rock on the back of the kind of side 8 foot.
That's what it looks like, eh? With that ice, they're just going to leave that situation alone there and get third shot in.
This will allow a double for PEI right back. However, a good shot here could set up a multiple for Saskatchewan. Look at the way this is curling in there. Good late finish.
Good ever curling. Good shot.
Bumping them back, might actually sit 4.
Real close.
This is where we need those young eyes again, Keith. I can't quite see from our overhead view. Brenda Rogers still hasn't moved the big black thing. So we're stuck just a guess.
Is there a triple there?
There might be.
It's close. I think maybe just jams.
Jams on the one on maybe the back of the button.
If you make the side one, I think the other two maybe jam, eh?
Not a bad result that would be, though, if they could make this double on the side, top 2.
Just a double, exactly.
Yeah. It's important to make 2 yellow rocks go, though, here.
Yes.
It's curling a little bit on them.
I think it's over curled.
Oof.
There again, they got caught with that in turn, just moving that little bit more than the out turn does.
Move a little bit more, maybe not quite as positive to release. Saskatchewan now up with a tricky hit that they're attempting here. It's important to try and stay as close as you can to nose.
Yeah, I think nose would be the best, wouldn't it?
I think so.
It's got to come to get to the nose. It's going to roll a little bit.
So it rolls a little bit too far. Leaves Saskatchewan sitting first and second. We believe, I think blue is sitting third. So PEI would be sitting third. Saskatchewan sitting 4th and 5th at this point.
Hasn't got too much places to go. That's such a flat roll to get over to that other one.
This is where it's getting tough late in the game, especially down 2 points without hammer PEI. You kind of got to make a good shot here. You're kind of fighting against what's better, if I eliminate stones and do it that way, or do I need to go for a steal?
And it's tough being he has just a corner guard that isn't going to
help him
provide a lot of protection for a steal.
No.
The deuce here is almost too much to come back from.
So Shoot looking to hit this one on the back of the 4-foot. Roll as close as you can. I don't know if you could, but if you roll flat enough, maybe into your own blue one, you might be able to sit second shot or first shot even.
I think that's all he's got is to try and roll into his.
McKenzie working on this one as hard as he can, trying to keep it straight for his skipper.
It's close.
Look at, that's about as good as he could do almost.
It sure is. And the trouble is, I think it's still mostly wide open.
So, not a great situation for PEI, but the skip Shoot did a very good job.
Heck of a try.
I'm starting to figure out why Shoot slides like that too. His role model is Nicholas Adine.
Ah.
So getting nice and low like that kind of makes sense. He actually got to meet Nicholas Adine at a CCE camp back in the day.
Wow.
So he met his hero, which is pretty cool for a young kid.
Yeah, how much of a thrill would that be, eh, for him?
Absolutely. Mitchell's also one of our multi-sport athletes that I love to promote. He was the team captain of his Bantam baseball team. He's a captain of a school soccer team. He's one of those kids that kind of plays everything. multi-sport athletes, one thing I promote huge, especially at my school where I coach basketball too, plus coaching baseball and curling. So those multi-sport athletes often seem to be a little bit more well-rounded than the ones that kind of specialize a little bit more.
Yes, that's, I remember years ago, sport people promoting that, especially with younger kids.
Absolutely.
If they were soccer players or hockey players or whatever, it's fine, but promote all sports. So, like you say, it makes them a well-rounded athlete, and it so many other sports hone your skills for in other ways you don't realize they do for this different sports.
Absolutely. I think Wayne Gretzky's kind of the biggest. He's had a few quotes. Obviously, Wayne Gretzky being the greatest hockey player of all time, and he's a big advocate for the multi-sport.
He played a lot of sports too, eh? He was a baseball player.
Yep. I think his son
Golf.
was drafted in the MLB too, so it's a family that's
right,
pretty well-rounded.
First baseman, I believe.
Yeah. So the momentum's kind of switched here in our sheet after a miss by Gervais here. Now PEI's all of a sudden sitting one. They need to kind of steal here to get back in the game, especially with a few Yellowstones hanging around.
Where do you go to try and steal one? Where's your best options?
So they were calling kind of the side forfeit on the other side, but that will allow kind of a force. That kind of more just accomplishes the force for the team. So the coaches come out here and they're going to kind of play a corner freeze on the Yellowstone. Kind of takes away the hit possibility on that blue, but it also gets a second rock in there.
I like that. It's not the easiest shot in the world, but if he could ever lock it on the corner of that one, it does make it a lot tougher shot for Saskatchewan.
Absolutely. That'll probably force Saskatchewan to have to play a draw into the forfeit, especially if the freeze is made well.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing here is giving enough ice, though, because this is the turn that hasn't curled quite as much. However, you get things started, kind of like we saw in Gervais' hit on the last one. You get things started, and they might take off on you.
When Red Deer, historically, sometimes if it's a little straight on one side of center, once it gets to center, it will curl more. So,
like once again, we're looking around that 14.5, 14.75 time. We're 13.9 here, so he's going to be a little bit heavy.
He's going to be tapping.
A little bit heavy. He's going to sit two.
It's not bad. I don't know if he can. It's pretty jammy, that one at the edge of the forefoot to hit it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there for one for sure, but
not a terrible result there by Mitchell.
No, it worked out not too bad. I can't really see anything that might be there for two. I think the one is the most they can get.
Yeah, so any kind of double, if they hit on the outside and kind of those axe doubles we talk about, would roll out. And you might actually kind of get unlucky and lose maybe another yellow. So he's just going to try and hit this on the nose, I think was the indication by Gervais.
Take his one.
Take his one.
Not a lot of ice. He must be going to throw some weight at it. Mind you, he's got those sweepers too.
Yeah, he does. Communication is going to be key on this shot. The sweepers kind of let Hom know what he's dealing with early on in the shot. Will help them make this shot as a team. Gervais, they're not touching this. Donay and Myers aren't giving it much. Donay now going on it. So it's curling, like we said, a little bit more off this line.
Oh, it really went.
Really went, and all of a sudden, worst case scenario, kind of jumped on them.
Didn't see that coming.
Jumped on them all of a sudden, and now that leads to a steal of 2 for PEI. A momentum change there.
Wow. Didn't look like they're in any trouble the whole end.
No, and 2 good shots by Schutt and 2 misses by Gervais, and all of a sudden we're tied up. 3-3 after 6 ends of play. PEI right back in this game.
Wow.
This is where it's really important for Saskatchewan to come together in those team meetings, kind of talk about what went wrong and give themselves a goal for this next end and kind of put that one behind them?
I thought that was kind of tight ice when he put the broom down. I thought, ooh, he's going to have to. And they didn't really jump it, so I don't think he was tight.
Absolutely.
Just got a little confused with the ice there. Didn't have quite enough ice. Should we do an update?
Absolutely. We can do a quick update from across the rings. Over on sheet A. Want to go ahead with that, Keith? I can't quite see it from my
angle. I think
it's
like 7-0 Manitoba over BC. And on sheet 3, well, somebody's head in the way, but I think it's 4-2 for Manitoba. Oh, 5-2, sorry, for Manitoba over BC in the men's. New Brunswick and Quebec ladies. New Brunswick is up 5-3. In the men, it is also 5-3 for New Brunswick. A mirror image.
Yeah, kept it easy for you.
Yeah. Nova Scotia ladies are up 5-3 over the Territories. And in the men, the Territories are up 3-1 on the Nova Scotia men. Sheet 8, Alberta ladies are up 5-2, playing the 6th end. On sheet 9, the Newfoundland men are up 5-2 on Alberta, playing the 6th end. Sheet 10, Saskatchewan ladies are down 3-2 to the PEI ladies. They're playing the 6th end. And again, in our game, we're tied going into the 7th. Saskatchewan has the hammer.
So in our game, McKenzie slipped into the rings with his first guard attempt. The center guard coming a little bit too deep allowed Saskatchewan to hit it. Saskatchewan hit and rolled out of the rings with their first rock by Myers. So now we're on McKenzie's second rock here. McKenzie trying to replace and put a center guard up. This is where we would love to give you an update if that rock is in the rings or not. But TSN's lovely camera is still in the way. So since Brenda wouldn't move the camera for us, we now have Sarah Moore, our curling lead here. She looks like she is volunteering to move that camera. We are hoping that she gets up there. Sarah, we're relying on you to know if that rock is in. It doesn't seem to be moving.
It's hard to believe a little black ball can cover that much of our screen.
That's true. However, we're going with it's not in, just based on the Saskatchewan call. We're going to use our deductive reasoning here.
Yeah, I'm sure if it was biting, they'd be hitting it.
Yeah. So this rock, I'm not sure if it picked up something or if, yeah, the way they're cleaning the path might have picked up something.
I think so, because they were trying to go in behind on the other side.
Kind of a bad result there for Saskatchewan. Now all of a sudden leaving 2 center guards up. PEI is kind of in good shape here. If they can get a rock behind.
Exactly, and they have a little momentum after that kind of out of the blue steal of 2 last end.
So Kelly now trying to take advantage after that Saskatchewan miss or missed kind of unlucky break.
Got all hands on deck sweeping this one.
McKenzie's kind of giving way to his skip. Sometimes those skips get in the way and they just want to sweep. However, he's done a pretty good job of dragging this as far as he can. Skips aren't known for their sweeping, are they, Keith?
Not too many of them, no.
No. I speak from experience. I've been told to stay the heck out of there sometimes. However, Shute did a good job helping out his team. They buried a little bit, half a round.
Yeah, it turned out not too bad. I think it's just going to be a short little run back here, but
good shot here by Donay.
Oh, yeah, he's stuffed it in there. I believe it's probably biting. They're going to hit it, so.
Good shot by Donay to run that back, sit one. These boys discuss what they want to do here. It's a good opportunity to thank all our volunteers, all our Our sport lead, Sarah, we're giving her a hard time, but she's working so hard to keep this event running, so thank you to Sarah. We're also giving Brenda quite a hard time, but she's our head official, a level 5 official here, helping us out, so thank you so much to Brenda and all her help. Wade and the ice crew, keeping the ice the way it is. The ice has been fantastic all week, and the athletes have nothing but good things to say. Excuse me, something in my throat. All our volunteers behind the cameras, our camera workers, Keith for helping me out today at the last minute. Everybody that makes this event a huge success, so thank you so much to everybody.
Yes, the volunteer base is phenomenal in this town.
Sorry about that.
They're trying to come around and tap that yellow, I believe. In the swingy turn.
Oh, good
just
sweeping there by
by.
Mackenzie.
Very well done.
Fantastic sweeping by Mackenzie. Kept that thing straight, and if we had the TSN replay there, I'm sure it wouldn't have gone by much.
No, it would have been pretty skinny. I actually thought he had racked.
Fantastic sweeping, though, by Mackenzie. Kept it straight. Now you'll see another run back here by Donay.
Trying to hit it a little over the nose, I think, and get it right into the...
Here's that spot that kind of takes off on them, though.
Yeah.
Just keep getting a little bit surprised by it.
All game they've, overcurled in that spot.
We'll keep the center guard up there for PEI.
Looks like they're opting to play the tap instead of the straight come around.
This will be third. Nicholas Johnson going to attempt the tap here. This team shoot out of PEI. Skipped by Lori Robinson. You can follow this team on Twitter and Instagram at TeamMShootPE. So you can follow them on both Twitter and Instagram. I know these kids love their Twitter and their social media nowadays, so I'm assuming they'd want to follow. Johnson not going to get the tap, but he might make a little bit of a split here, which isn't a bad result either if you're looking for the force in the 7th.
Yes. See about 3/4 of that rock, it looks like, so they're like maybe going to play some kind of down weight control or board, try and hit and roll over to the other one.
Donay working on this one, trying to help his buddy Hom out, trying to keep it straight. Got to get by that guard as tight as they can. He's done good to keep it straight, and they're going to roll over. Pretty good shot there by Hom.
Yeah, very good. Got it over close to the other one, so PI doesn't make a big roll back. It would probably be a double
opportunity, yeah,
for Saskatchewan, and they don't want to press it too much here. They probably just assume blank and be tied up coming home with the hammer if they get a chance.
Shoot going to do what he can to avoid that, so he'll try and hit this one and roll as far as he can away from it.
That's right. Trying to make sure he sticks is the big thing here.
Mackenzie really getting a workout today. I feel like every time they have to hold something, it's Mackenzie down there holding it straight. Great roll.
Good shot.
Well thrown by Johnson, well called by Shoot, and well swept there by Mackenzie. Suppose he can be a fan of Brett's then. I'm now going to try and throw a high weight, roll as flat as you can. It's running a little bit straighter with him with this big weight, and he'll hit right on the nose.
Yeah, that big weight, it didn't curl much at all.
We didn't even have much time to commentate that when he threw it so hard. However, one of those shots where you don't quite have to make the double early on. So I know the big weight was thrown, but the nose isn't a bad result. And you talked about this earlier, Keith, how If you hit this on the nose and all of a sudden you get one more nose hit, now the double's almost a natural double.
It's easier, that's right.
So being a little bit patient. I don't know if it was intentional to hit on the nose, however, it's kind of worked out for them.
We'll see if PI is content to hit that on the nose, or they're going to go real hard after the roll here. Danger of that, if you don't make it real good, you just make the double easier if you only roll it halfway. And they nosed it right back.
So there you go, the angle's created. You might see Saskatchewan take on this double just so they can keep the blank in play. Hitting the rock on the forefoot would just allow a force to still be in play, so I don't actually mind this call, because if you make the double, awesome, you get the blank in play, but if you end up giving up a steal of one, if you're Saskatchewan, even though the momentum's kind of not going your way, you're not too upset, because you're going to come home with hammer, down one, and that's kind of always a good position to be in.
Surprised he's going to the other turn here.
Mm-hmm.
They've played that in turn twice and seen what it does, and now he's going to go to the out turn, which has been curling a lot more.
Big weight here by Gervais, trying to make the double. He's close. Oh.
Got a piece of it, and it just rolled over the top of it.
Interesting situation develops now, though.
Mm-hmm.
So now PEI has to kind of cover and hope for... I know you're happy with the steal one, but if PEI, if you could somehow maybe get another one in there, maybe biting the top forefoot, half buried, maybe at a good angle, maybe just biting just second shot, half buried would be perfect.
Gonna be just a little better than full 8 to be second shot.
Because the steal one is great, however, coming, like we just touched on, up one, coming home without hammer is not a great situation. So if we could get another one in there, maybe just shot rock, top 8, half buried, and forcing Saskatchewan maybe to a draw against 2.
Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what they'd want to do, make something against 2.
See if we can get a time on this one. Can't barely see it behind his delivery, however, I'll give you some kind of indication. Shoot indicating that he's heavy, giving the sweeper some feedback.
Yeah,
I like the way this shoot communicates, though. He's always asking for communication from his front end.
Oh, mister. Yeah, they were just cleaning it a little bit for a while and then got right off it. And yes, he's through the rings.
He knows that's a missed opportunity. You can see him disappointed in himself. That'll allow the chance here for Saskatchewan to get 2.
Come down and tap that. I think he can see it all, or maybe 17 parts out of 20 or something. Maybe it might be a sliver.
The only thing they got to be aware of is we've seen this spot back in the first end and the third end where it ran a little bit straight on the guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't overthrow this if you're Gervais. Got to have good weight. Maybe that's back line. Just come up to it nice. Any overthrow, you could see this run a little bit straight on them and be forced maybe to that single that they don't want.
Hit and roll out, yes. Doesn't have much ice.
How are you doing? Good, you look pretty good in that. No? Should we take a picture? Post it?
Touched his shoulder. I don't know what weight sign that is for them, but thinking it's not quiet.
It's definitely not quiet. So maybe Hap, he's got to go. Donet's got to help him out.
He started that. He was tight.
Saskatchewan racks there, going to give up the steal of 1 to PEI. However, if you're Saskatchewan, you come to your team meeting here, you say we're still in good shape. We're coming home with hammer. We're exactly where we need to be. If we get our deuce, we can come home with the victory here. However, on PEI's side, you got to come together and you got to say, hey, we just battled back from a 3-0 deficit. Let's keep this going. One more steal and we win this game. So both teams should be confident going into this last end. We'll see which team can kind of take the advantage early and get some rocks in good positions. And
yeah, it's been a big momentum switch here the last couple ends.
absolutely.
Oh,
So 1 up without hammer. The strategy often here is you got to play kind of like you want to steal. However, Shoot is deciding to come right in the top 4 foot. I guess with Saskatchewan forced to try and get deuced, they might ignore that rock is kind of what Shoot's hoping.
Yeah, and I'm be very surprised if they do throw it top, button top, that Saskatchewan hits it. I would think that for sure they'd be throwing at least one corner.
So only the 2 finals to report so far. We had our Manitoba females came home with the 10-0 victory over BC. And our other final, we have Nova Scotia. The girls, Nova Scotia, got a big end, a big 6-ender in the 7th end. And they broke that game wide open with the Northwest Territories, and they took home the 11-3 victory. Every other game still in progress. We'll kind of update you after our 8th end here. Back in our featured sheet, we got PEI leading 4-3 here in the 8th end of the Kenner-Winner games. Both teams grinding hard here. PEI looking for that first win, get on the board with a win. Team would be more than happy. And Saskatchewan looking to push their record to 3-1 instead of dropping back kind of into a pack at 2-2.
PEI come up light trying to throw it top 4.
And Saskatchewan came heavy.
Trying to throw the corners.
Those 2 leads need to talk to each other and figure out what each other are doing.
And oops.
So slipping into the rings will allow Mackenzie here a chance to remove that stone. A good hit and roll behind will kind of give the advantage to PEI.
Yeah, you'd want to roll in just a little, just to kind of take that corner away. It's a biter, it's in.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So with it rolling into the rings, you're going to see Saskatchewan actually ignore it, though. Throw up a corner because they know they need to orchestrate their deuce.
Yeah. Basically double guard it.
That's exactly the plan here. Myers hoping to do a little bit better with this one.
There's some good weight.
Great guard there by Myers. So Shoot's going to ask his second Kelly to come around here. Not the easiest way to come through, especially with this kind of reverse port.
That's right.
A little bit more swing coming across, like we've talked about, coming away from the crowd as well on the left. Sorry, on the right for you guys and myself, so I don't know why I said left.
The other left.
The other left.
Yeah, this is starting to swing, and he's a little light. I'm not sure he wanted another guard, but
another guard is what we got regardless.
He might be switching gears here and going for the steal in a hurry.
Yep. So Gervais is also going to abandon the draw. Maybe hit this blue one and roll him behind somewhere.
It's a little surprising he'd be hitting this.
Mm-hmm.
He could throw the draw either way. He's going to do PI's job and peel the corner for him.
Oh, he does just that. Leaves the center guard up, peels his own corner. Not a great miss there by Donay.
Yeah, I wonder about that call. If you're trying to generate a deuce, that was basically a corner guard for him.
Mm-hmm.
Why he'd be hitting it. Well, PI saying, okay, we'll go for the steal now. And try and come in behind here.
Put the pressure right on Saskatchewan. Having to score at least one to extend this game to an extra end.
He's looking pretty good. If he's got the weight, he's got great line.
Shoot jumping in there to help out his team.
Good shot.
Shoot's definitely a better sweeper than most skips. Good sweep in there by Mitchell. Now the pressure on Saskatchewan. PEI sitting one buried. You got to try and follow him through. Donet's going to try and follow Kelly there. He's going to try and follow Kelly through that hole. The important thing there, too, with PEI shot is not only got through the hole and got to a good spot, they stayed in front of the tee line.
Very good spot. That's hard to, I mean, you can't draw behind it and be shot. If they freeze the top of it, you might see PI just guard the heck out of it for the rest of the end and say, how do you get your one?
Exactly. Sweeper's working hard here. Hom on the inside, trying to keep it straight. Just going to rack.
Just needed an ounce more weight. PI trying to decide where the best spot for a guard is. Looks like we have another final, Joel. The Newfoundland men have defeated the Alberta men. They got another deuce in 7 to win 8-3. Newfoundland remains undefeated.
Yeah, well played. It's a well-played 4 games here so far by Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, they've looked
pretty dominant so far.
Really good. I watched some of their game yesterday. They curled really well.
So Newfoundland now to 4-0. Alberta drops down to 2-1 after their first loss here in the competition. Meanwhile, back in our game, PEI in pretty good position here.
It must have decided to throw a center guard, I guess, eh? Guard that run back.
Yeah, we're guarding everything here. Guarding for our life. We got one behind everything.
Yeah, they're in pretty good shape. Saskatchewan's going to have to start maybe moving some granite just to ensure that they have a chance to get the one.
And that's sometimes we lose focus on that at the young ages sometimes. We got to remember that one is sometimes enough.
You try so hard for 2, you get none.
Exactly. So PEI's made the guard that they called on the center line. Gervais got to play some kind of shot to open up. I don't mind if they played like a half a rock on this one, maybe spilled the yellow one into the rings and kind of open that side. The only problem here is that we're leaving a blue stone basically dead buried behind 3 guards.
That's the problem.
That we're going to have to take almost 2, maybe 3 shots to get at.
Could run those 3 on the center line. If you actually hit that one 3/4 on that side, you might get rid of the whole works of them.
Absolutely. If this hangs out a little bit, you might see PEI block this up and we'll never get in there.
Yeah, because I think the way it was locked, there was no way you could get it onto that one on top of the 4. I do have a biter. Be 3rd shot.
It's going to make PEI forced to be a little bit aware of it.
Yes, and that double is quite makeable for Saskatchewan to be sitting 2.
Yep.
He's got to be mindful of that.
Absolutely. Mindful of that with this guard placement. Sometimes we take these guards a little bit for granted. So you got to make sure that you're in good position here, taking away that double, but also maybe taking away coming through the hole. So you got to have good positioning on this rock.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not the easiest shot to play. You've been throwing it, trying to throw top 4 T-line the whole game, and then all of a sudden you got to throw 10 feet less.
Absolutely.
Pretty good, but the double is there. But again, the trouble is if you don't make this double,
all of a sudden Gervais might not have a shot.
You're going to be drawing the outside edge of the 4 for 1.
So if you're in Marcy Gooderight's position here, Keith, are you telling them to peel some guards, or are you hoping they make this?
I don't know. Yeah, I think I would have peeled with the last one, but
It's an interesting turn they've chosen here, too.
Yeah.
They're going to have to wait for it to come off that rock.
And it's a lot tighter this way than to play the intern and let it go over the nose. It's got it too thick.
Right on the nose.
Now it's steeper. Each time it gets hit, it's steeper and tougher.
Yep. So right now, PEI sitting the 1. If they steal here, it will be a victory for PEI. However, they now have to be mindful of 2 Saskatchewan rocks. So any shot made by Saskatchewan to maybe get that one off the forefoot could lead to a victory now for Saskatchewan. So very good finish that we got coming for us here. Saskatchewan, you can see already starting to line up other different shots. PEI trying to think about what the best place to position this stone is. We're going to call a timeout here.
I guess there is probably a triple run there if they hit it just right, but it's need to get out the protractor to figure out the angles.
Cameron Durand doing a fantastic job zooming in on this position. You can kind of see here, so we got the PEI stone sitting behind a kind of mess of guards. However, Saskatchewan might have some kind of run back on those. Saskatchewan sitting second and third shot, top 12 foot and kind of back side 12 foot. Saskatchewan has some options, but PEI is sitting the 1. What are you seeing here for Saskatchewan, Keith, besides maybe that triple run?
Geez, yeah, not much. I guess if it were to stay now, he's got try and tick the yellow over, but that is so thin. He could run that blue back and just try to make that double.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't see much for 2. Obviously draw the forefoot for 1, but
I think you got to keep that in mind too, that you're always going to have this draw.
Yeah, I can't see unless PEI gets a free shot, then they're going to throw a guard over on that side and block his draw. But
yeah. So we've come out of the timeout here. Lori Robinson, coach of Team PEI, has asked her boys to hit this rock, maybe on the nose, maybe roll it in a little bit.
That's what I'm guessing with that ice, because it's not enough ice to guard unless they're throwing another one in that lineup before.
I actually really like this call here, Keith, as long as it's made. If you stay anywhere on the inside and you roll in behind, it kind of takes away that run back and it eliminates one of the Team Saskatchewan stones.
That's right, and then there's nothing to run in there if he knows it. There's nothing on that side for Saskatchewan.
The only worry would be to hit it really thin and kind of jam it in, or to hit it actually too thin on the inside and all of a sudden roll for a double. So you got to be mindful of this. Hitting it right on the nose or a little bit on the inside would be perfect for Team PEI.
Yeah, you don't want to do this and take your own out.
Ooh, just going over the top.
Yeah, it's going to spin out.
Spin out, so it leaves.
Ooh. And they weren't sweeping that. I thought they'd have been.
We've seen that a few times. Gervais threw that one down this path in the 6th that kind of took off on them all of a sudden.
If they hit that any thinner, they're taking theirs out.
Absolutely.
Here comes that double run back that I said. But the good thing now for PEI, this is only for 1.
Absolutely. That's why it was important to eliminate that rock. That's why Lori Robinson, the coach for Team PEI, I'm assuming came out there and said to them, we need to eliminate one of these yellow stones.
It's almost too late to be playing this. If they wanted to gamble real hard for their deuce, he could throw the in-turn draw right now and go around that.
Absolutely. Come around everything, set up. Then you at least have the draw weight down in your pocket if you have to throw it on your last.
That's right. And then if PEI doesn't make a good shot, you might have another draw the other way for 2 to win. This way, the most you're getting is 1.
He's close.
He's got her.
Fantastic run back there by Saskatchewan.
What a shot.
That's a game saver for his team.
But then again, he's only going to have a shot for 1.
Yep.
Especially if Mr. Shoot can sink one here with the out turn.
I think Shoot's actually going to hit this one on the side to make sure that he doesn't give up the 2.
Yeah, I guess if it's not a bad call if you're not real confident in the ice or the draw weight.
And if you make almost a perfect draw, you might leave Saskatchewan that same run back for the win now if they stick it. So I don't mind this call. It's conservative. It is conservative, but it ensures that you're at least going to the extra end with hammer.
Yeah.
It's well thought out. Shoot called his teammates down, as a good skip should do when he's not completely sure. Called his team down, and they kind of discussed that as a team, and now they're going to go back, play this hit, make sure they eliminate it.
Team voted.
Yep. Came to a consensus.
not narrow. They're working it, trying to make it curl.
Mackenzie's got to help him out here.
I'm not so. No. Maybe they should have another vote.
Oh, no. You feel so bad for Shoot in this situation.
Oh,
they played such a great end.
Oh, the last 3 ends they've curled so well to get back into this. Thought that was a lot of ice. I mean, it does curl, but he threw big weight.
Big weight, yeah.
And he had.
So now that'll allow Team Saskatchewan. Brecklin Gervais has a chance for the draw. Anywhere in the rings will bring home the victory for Saskatchewan.
That was a big turnaround.
So late in this game, looking for around that 14.5 seconds. Draw weight, hog to hog. Here comes Gervais with a chance for the victory. Wouldn't have any other 2 sweep or sweep in this for me, too.
Yeah, no kidding. These guys have shown all night that they are really good with them brooms. They're just cleaning a little bit. 13/8, it'll
13/8, a little heavy.
But it'll stop at 13. Once you get high 13s, as long as you're not gunning it, it'll stop.
And it will slide back to the back of the 8-foot, but that will be a victory for Team Saskatchewan. Heartbreak there for Shoot. The team battled all the way through, showed great resilience battling back, but a victory nonetheless for Team Saskatchewan. They come home with the 5-4 victory here on Monday night at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. Before we leave air, we'll kind of give you an update of what's happening around the other sheets. We'll give you a quick update. Manitoba, we indicated earlier, won on the girls' side, 10-0. Keith, can you update me on the boys' side?
Boys' side, it looks like the men are up 6-3, playing the 8th end. BC does have the hammer. New Brunswick, Quebec girls. New Brunswick is up 5-4. New Brunswick has the hammer, 1 up coming home. In the men,
we're not quite sure what happened. Maybe we can find it here online because they didn't quite put up the score for the 8th end.
Yeah, it shows
5-4, New Brunswick won that game.
Okay, so Territories got 1 in the 8th. Oh, no, there's this. Oh, it don't matter.
They just blanked that end, and New Brunswick came home with a win.
Okay. Sheet 6, Nova Scotia won quite handily. They were the ones that got the 6-ender, 11-3. That was the girls, I believe. And the men, Nova Scotia won 5-4. That was a real close game. They were tied up coming home. Nova Scotia had the hammer and counted 1 to win. Newfoundland, Alberta, the girls. Alberta is up 6-3, playing the 8th end. Newfoundland has the hammer. They're 3 down. The men, we said earlier, Newfoundland men won 8-3. Sheet 10, the Saskatchewan girls and the PEI girls are having a barn burner. They're tied up 3-3 coming home. And PEI has the hammer.
Our cameraman has flipped over to this sheet.
Actually, we just have 1 rock left, so.
We'll commentate for this last shot here for you.
Looks like she's got an in-turn tap.
You can see about half this rock. Saskatchewan did good to kind of get half buried top of the 4-foot. However, that'll leave PEI. I don't think they even have to stick because they got a little catcher here along the side.
I believe that is a biter, yes.
So if PEI eliminates this stone, it will be a victory for Team PEI.
As long as she doesn't hit it so thin, she kicks the kicker out.
Absolutely.
That'd be my luck.
Here we go.
On its way. They're kind of leaving it right now. Now they're trying to make it curl a little. It's really got to curl. Oh, it's coming. It's finishing. I'm not sure.
She's done good.
She's got
good
it out.
Shot there by PEI.
And she didn't get the kicker.
So mixed results for Team Saskatchewan and Team PEI tonight. The Saskatchewan men come home with the 5-4 victory. However, Team PEI on the women's side get their first victory, beating Team Saskatchewan 4-3. A fantastic night of curling here in Red Deer, Alberta. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Keith, so much for joining me at the last minute, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
So thank you to Keith Glover. Thank you to everybody. It's been a great night here at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta.